Good evening and welcome to the national. That's the nighttime heat. I was just looking at a document. That's the nighttime heat. This evening, Sabo George is my name, and of course, I'm still waiting my panelists, waiting for George Kennedy and Edwin Fambule, because I know Moses will join us later on, but he's not too sure joining us. We also have Assistant Finance Minister Henry Yanko. Yanko will be joining us. Our basic focus tonight is to understand the national budget. Well, we may not understand, we may not get a full detail, but I mean, some specifics that's public concern and about some of the figures and areas that have been allotted or allocated. So we have to understand some of the justification as to why those figures have been attached to those areas. We'll be talking about that later on. And then also, I'm sure you heard about the you heard about this person trying to distract me. You heard about the protest today. Some former employees of the FD, I understand, from that end, staged a major protest today, complaining of neglect. Well, we hope to get the video to hear from them. And also, our country is taking a different dimension, and our politics is taking different trend, and that's totally bad for the stability, the peace, the unity of our country. Some of our people now are expressing negative or harboring negative thinking about our leaders. What is giving rise to that? Is it deeply rooted in hatred for one another in the country? Is it that our leaders are not on speaking terms, they are not talking and coordinating well because maybe if that was happening, the people who they are leading would have also been on speaking terms and coordinating and speaking peace and national reconciliation. But what's happening, it's really, really concerning. We'll talk about that today as to what's giving rise to that. Is it political difference? But even if that, that you are not part of the political party that the other man is part of or the other woman is part of, it doesn't mean that, you should have wishful thinking. So we're going to be talking about that, tonight. Saba George is my name, like I said. My partner is George Kennedy, Edwin Fambule, Moses Sabi. Moses will maybe coming later on, but he's not too sure because he's being swamped with a lot of work at the office, and besides, Moses is bereaved, and our condolences again. In fact, this entire program is dedicated to one of our producers. Tomorrow marks Nature Day. That's wedding, if I put it that way. I hope to get the, but that's it. She's our producer on the program, and of course, tomorrow marks Nature Day, and of course, Mark Rosa Morgan. Okay, in another word, that's the English name, but I call the traditional name wedding, but she's Mark Rosa Morgan. Tomorrow marks her Nature Day, and of course, this program, in its entirety, it's been dedicated to one of our producers tonight. Well, like I said, I'm sure we'll be joined by Assistant Finance Minister Henry Yanko, but we'll be looking at the budget today. Does the budget really address major critical issues, or is it just for the few? We're going to look at that tonight. So let me welcome Edwin Family. Edwin, it's already in studio. Edwin, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much. Good evening to our listening public, to our producers. I want to say a happy pre-birthday to you. We hope that God can keep blessing you so that we keep coming here to inform the Liberian people on the happenings Yeah, but I'm again, once again, glad to be here as always.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Edwin, and of course, want to commend you. We cannot cease commending you and Moses and George for the level of dedication that you guys continue to bring to the table. Again, kindly share the show. We are streaming live on Prime FM or Rover 105.5, and also streaming live on our YouTube and our Facebook channel. That's the Nighttime Heat YouTube and Facebook channel. We are streaming live. So kindly share the show so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones, your partners can also follow on what's happening tonight. This program is being carried by Radio Gegeman. That is in Nima County, Kwatika in Bon County, and of course, Wodogisi in Nima County, in Norfolk County. They are carrying this program, relaying this program tonight. And like I said, our major focus tonight will be looking at the national budget. I'm sure we'll listen to the Minister of Finance today. He spoke about the open budget initiative. As a result of that, the Ministry of I'm sure posted the budget on its website, or if not, they may be doing so that all of us can look at the budget. But there are concerns already, public concerns about some of the figures and justification for those figures. The issue of fighting drugs very important. But let me not take the cat off the bag. Let me first welcome George Kennedy quickly. George, what is your microphone? George Kennedy, one of my panelists. Let me welcome George quickly to the program. George, welcome.
Thank you, sir. Good evening.
Okay, you start the mic.
Yeah. Good evening to you all, and I'm happy to be back tonight. I'm sorry for being late for a few minutes.
Yes, no problem.
Yeah, I mean, the weather changed just within the twinkling of an eye, and so we have to cope with it because it's a natural phenomenon. So again, to our listening audience, we want to say you are welcome. We are here to offer our bit of knowledge, share with you that we all will be able to benefit from. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Josh. Again, we can see commending you guys, giving you guys the plaudits, that you guys deserve for the level of commitment and dedication being brought to the table to educate, inform, and entertain our people on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. But let me ask you, Mr. Edwin, I know a couple of issues will be also thrown on your mind, apart from what we will be discussing tonight. Anything so we can look into that quickly.
Well, yes, there are a few things I listened to. One of the former or presidential candidate who actually contested in this last just ended elections this morning on the radio, and he actually came up with some struggling revelations about the inner fight within the administration itself. And he, being a politician, actually was trying to caution the president to look within his inner cycle, that there are people there who are not bent on trying to actually make sure that this president build a legacy, but they're trying to grab for themselves, and have too much inner fight. And I think these things are important, and let us not just push it under the carpet. Once you have group of people trying to claim the attention of a single powerful individual, you have these fights. But the leaders have to always look above that fray, to make sure that they're listening to the right people and making determinations of some of those things that have been said. And also my condolences to the Todman family. They lost one of the daughters of President Todman died this morning. One Nene Plu, as I always call her, she passed this morning. But I was the daughter of the former president of the Republic of Liberia.
Okay, our condolences. Josh, anything threading in your mind?
It's just almost as Mr. Fambule said. This is it's almost like internal struggle. For example, some people were suspended for alleged corruption, and and they got cleared by the LACC and GAC.
Okay.
And some of them funding means will either be restated or whatsoever. Like this group, I call this group that replaced the LPMC. They are there, LACRA. There is this incident there, the first team that was suspended for alleged corruption. And as I speak to you, there's been cleared by the LACC, there's been cleared by the GAC, and this matter is still pending. We saw some posts on Facebook from some people reminding the president and to look in that direction. There's also this issue from the LACC regarding the road fund. We're getting some information they're about to go to court. The LACC is about to go to court on the road fund issue. It's been dragging for too long. We thought it wise to elevate this because this is a very crucial corruption case. I think from what we're gathering, they've gotten enough evidence to go to court as an anti-graft institution. So those are some of the things that.
Okay, for me, two things were trending also, apart from these top and major discussions. Let me read one first. It has to do with the Drug Enforcement Agency, the ORC, Gerald and Biago, continuation of our draft. He said, continuation of our draft to clean the LDA. I'm pleased to announce the results of the drugs test conducted in the following counties. Bon County, 36 officers. Nimba County, 56 officers were tested. Grand Bassa County, 50 officers were tested. And Montserrat County, 170 officers. Mangibi County, 55 officers, bringing the total to 406 officers. Out of the 406, 10 were tested positive. 10 of the officers of the DA were tested positive of taking the substance in. I think this rings a bell that there should be more reform in the LDEA. There's a need for that, more cleaning up, because if 10 of the officers can be tested, I think they need to do more. And I don't think that's the entire county so far. They've covered just few of the counties, so they need to do more of the cleaning up and more of reforms and weed out those elements who maybe a threat potentially to the growth and operation of the Drugs Enforcement Agency, and on the overall the fight against narcotics. So hat off to the management team at the DEA for the work well done, but they need to go further. They need to conduct more tests for their officers, so that we can have people in the DEA who are trying to undermine the fight against narcotics. And also another thing, let me see what I can play the video quickly. There was this verbal altercation, and gentlemen, I want us to look at this before we can, I'm sure the assistant minister will be joining us anytime from now for us to look at it. Okay, I'm sure you should be on by now. I'll welcome you, but let's talk about this quickly. There was this verbal altercation between Montserrat County Senator Sir Joseph and assistant minister at the Ministry of Public Works, Ibrahim Bedidi, and that drew onlookers together, and that was, I think, totally bad. That's what's not good for public officials to be arguing in that manner, and especially when the Public Works had gone to carry out a demo. But let's try to play the video and listen to this quickly and talk about that also.
Senate floor. But this is not what I'm here for, because even if that was the case, as a government, collectively, I think we have a channel to deal with it.
No, listen.
For any of us, to
Minister, I'm just giving you what I just said. There's a procedure at the Senate. I already, the Ministry of Public Work agreed with the Committee on Public Work And that communication will also send to Ways and Means to make sure we find resources to do it. So we're going to do it. That's not you. You're not going to provide the money. The Senate will find the money within the national budget.
Even as such decision.
No, but the minister have already spoken to them.
The minister will not speak to them. I was the minister. I have been sent. I'm directly responsible.
Okay. So we agree. The people are willing to move.
I can answer.
The people are willing to move.
Senator, will you listen to me small? This has been a long process. And let me say, we at the Ministry of Public Works, our statutory responsibility is to build roads.
Yeah.
And if in building roads, we have impediments in building roads and we need to clear them to build the roads, we will do that.
So what we are saying,
we have a timeline to do so.
Chief, what we are saying,
maybe I need to talk to Senator Chie.
What we are saying
on this, because we're going to be doing demolition everywhere during this dry season to pave our roads.
We have agreed.
And to say that the instruction has, but you put the citizens at risk. These are government employees. You put them at risk.
You came to just bring camera to just talk?
Not to bring cameras. The cameras were here. I did not bring cameras.
Minister, you already concluded that we will continue the demolition process and we have procedures that we're going to do.
No, Senator,
I requested for grand
doesn't mean stopping the government an executive function. This is an executive function. This is an executive function. Except you take that function away from the Minister of Public Works and send it back to the legislature. This is an executive function. Assigned to the Minister of Public Works.
When last all of the demolitions that you did, you saw me there?
So I don't know why they stand. Okay. I don't know why they stand. So and if you are here, if you did not go to the other one, why are you here? Okay. And why are you blocking the operation?
Okay, because we have agreed with the Public Works Minister, with the Committee on Public Works. They had a conversation. They invited the Public Works Chairman reported to plenary. The higher decision making body.
That communication, when the plenary make a decision, is duly communicated to the executive. We have received no such communication.
As the minister.
But I was in minister. I have been sent by the minister.
As the minister.
But this is not the way
I spoke to the chairman of Public Works.
Then you should have gone back to the minister. But to put our citizens, our staff at risk.
Your citizens were never at risk.
They were at risk. The police. The police have said that.
No.
The police have said.
Gentlemen, can you imagine that? Two officials of the government, Senator Sack Joseph and Assistant Minister Bility, Ibrahim Bility, I think Lieutenant Ibrahim Bility, in that altercation. You saw the bystanders. Let me ask you for your takeaway. Does it show that there's absolutely no coordination in amongst government agencies, or what's happening?
Well, we cannot use these one or two scenarios to say there's no coordination. I think there's coordination, but there are also information or just the cordial relationship between these institutions. And so I don't think it has been strengthened over time. I see a lot of egos around where people trying to prove that they're doing their work and nobody else has the authority to stop them. I do believe, first of all, when a senator appear on the scene, yes, you are an executive officer, you carry on a duty, but as a senator of a county. And there are two of them who represent the interests of this entire Montserrat County. So if anything affects their people, if they appear on the scene, I think you as a junior minister should give them some level of courtesy. That's leadership. If this assistant minister who was speaking today, if he was the senator, he will actually demand that as well. So we need to start looking at that level of courtesy. Even if the senator say, look, can you please wait till we can discuss this thing? Your duty is to, okay, yes, hold on until we can talk to the minister proper. Even if you cannot get a minister proper, maybe you can get to the deputy minister. But this whole thing about people trying to disrespect the first branch of government in whatever capacity, I think is wrong. And this is not just an isolated case. As I listened to another one again, I think even DeLon just posted on his Facebook page where some government officials from NIMBA accusing him of being one person that even pressured the former Senator Prince Johnson to death. And he also going after this other guy, how they call him, the current labor minister.
Kura.
Yeah, he want to get him off the job. They consider him, they call him all kinds of names. We have to stop these things. These people are performing their statutory function that was given to them by the Constitution. irrespective of what they say or where they are, we need to give them that respect. Until we can remove them, our people put them there as leaders of this county, and they should be given full respect. If you carry out a demolition and he appears there, Mr. Senator, yes, you are here. Can we talk? But you cannot have an altercation with a senior senator of the county.
You think that was the appropriate approach by the senator? Because the demolition exercise was ongoing. We all know that it's something that the government has initiated. And you think that was the appropriate approach to maybe have asked the implementer or the guy, carry out the overseeing the demolition to say, look, put a halt to what you are doing. You think that was the appropriate? You think that was the appropriate action?
I listened to the video clearly. When he went there, he called the guy who was the supervisor there, and now he happens to be the assistant minister. Can we discuss? Can we talk? To him, that particular action was to put a stop to what they were doing. But be as it may, he's a politician, right? He appeared on the scene because
the politician doesn't mean that you shouldn't do the appropriate. The rest
no.
Okay,
I'm not saying that. He appeared on the scene because the people called him that this was happening to intervene, right? The mere fact that he appears there, it shows that he put some level of seriousness to this particular action that is going on. He got there, met the assistant minister, and called his attention. There's nothing wrong in coming to him to say, look,
what it would have caused the senator if the senator had just place a call to the Minister of Public Works. Mr. Minister, I'm seeing demolition ongoing. Although that it's an order from the Senate maybe for this to stop until
that's why you
until monies can be allocated in the budget for compensation of those people. What it would have cost Senator Sir Joseph if he had phoned the Minister of Public Works, the Minister proper.
You and I have not spoken to him to know whether he spoke to the minister proper before going on the scene. Now, it would have still cost nothing for the assistant minister to tell and say, look, Senator, saying you are here, can you please accord to the minister so that we can, have some discussion on the phone? And the call would have been made right there. Put the phone on speaker, the two of them, listen to it. But you see, this whole thing of people trying to show the authority where they are, oh no, you are from the first branch of government. There's one government, whether be it from the Senate, from the judiciary. That's why it's called a government.
I don't think. Okay, let me hold you there and come to George. George, you saw the altercation, the verbal altercation between Senator Sir Joseph and Assistant Minister Bailey from Ministry of Public Works.
Yes, I did. I'm a bit disappointed, but these things are not unusual. They happen. I thought that leadership was not exhibited on the scene by the senator, and even later the minister. When the senator went trying to ask him to stop, he has an immediate boss. Since the senator may not have reached to his immediate boss, he should have placed a call to his immediate boss and explained to him what was going on, what the senator was doing. But to stand in a change, I'm not looking at who is a junior or senior government official, because there are two branches of government. All right, a representative can become assistant minister. You can go to different branches, and where the senator can be also if you want to take the job. Yeah. So I'm really looking at the leadership that the both of them failed to exhibit. I know Senator Sir Joseph is a well-mannered guy. He's not a guy who is rude. He's not hostile. But sometimes certain things can push people to do certain things. He was playing a political role there. But beneath that political role, he didn't play the leadership role by placing call wherever he should have to try to minimize such exchanges between him and the assistant minister. And the minister himself, having been confronted by the senator, should have just go on one side, place a call to higher authorities. So this is what's going on. Probably he would have been advised, and that wouldn't have been filmed the way.
You see what happened? What did both of them did, especially in the eyes of the public? You think it was shameful?
Embarrassing.
Yeah,
it was embarrassing. I see the egg for productivity. Everybody wants to see us working for the people, for the country, but they shouldn't have forgotten that every other act that they carry on over there had a kind of impact on the government,
Okay.
the country as a whole.
All right, gentlemen,
Yeah.
thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let's try to go into the crux of our discussion tonight. First, let's try to welcome Assistant Minister Yankwa, Assistant Minister of Finance Henry Yankwa is on the line. You'll be helping us to understand some of the decisions taken by the Ministry of Finance and justifications and all of that. Mr. Minister, welcome to the program.
So thank you for having me here.
Welcome. Yeah, you are live. Welcome.
Okay, so thank you for having me here, and let me extend the greetings of the entire senior management team of the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning. The Honorable Minister Augustine P. Gafwan, the Deputy Minister, the Assistant Minister, the entire workforce. We have been here at the Ministry for the past month, some days, sleeping here to ensure that we have the national budget prepared and submitted to the President for almost submission to the national legislature. As you already been hearing in the news, for the first time we have hit $1 billion in our history, and we think that is the right thing to do. And we are committed to ensure that we raise our amount and expeditiously spend that money to be able to boom our economy, to be able to invest in critical sectors that will have impact on our people, positive impact on our people.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Minister. We'll talk more about that. We wanted to share this show tonight. If you are listening or you are viewing as well, just share the show so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones, your partners can also follow on what's happening tonight on the Nighttime Heat. One of our major discussions tonight is the national budget. The budget was submitted by the executive to the national legislature. They came from the hands of the Minister of Finance, Augustine P. Gafwan, into the hands of the Speaker of the National Legislature, Richard Cohen. So the budget has gone. It has climbed up to 1.2 billion United States dollars, the first ever in our history, according to But there are some figures in the budget, and there are public concerns whether the Ministry of Finance, the government through the Ministry of Finance, whether they've done justice to some key areas. We'll be talking about that. But let me read something from the preamble quickly. The fiscal year 2025 national budget arrives. Okay, let me move forward quickly. Let me move forward and read from here. Appropriations previously placed under certain spending entities based on those entities' close links and supervisory roles in the execution of said appropriations have now been moved to a new budget category called General Government Expenditure. This is intended to ensure transparency, accountability, and the separation of these entities' core expenditure from the general expenditure items. Spending entities will still carry out their supervisory role. Okay, then I come down quickly. To sustain this momentum and create a more resilient fiscal base, the government is rolling out a targeted policy. Reforms that are practical, fair, and forward-looking. Okay, trying to find quickly. Okay, now, Mr. Minister, let's hear from you first before we begin to raise those critical issues that we have to raise with you tonight. 1.2 billion is such ambitious amount, whether realistic or not, but it is the first of its kind in the history of our country. just bring us up to speed. How was that derived? How did you and the top, management team at the ministry or the government management team, economic management team, how did two people, arrive at that, especially given the figure that is involved and given the economy that we have now in country? Just take us back. Mr. Minister, is saying that you are muted.
So, about Formula and Kennedy and our listening audience, we have committed people in this government, more especially at the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning. Let me take you back to Minister Gafwan's first light as a finance minister.
Mhm.
When Minister Gafwan took over at the time, he took over in 2008, and our budget at the time was 199.4 million. And he will move that budget to 2008-2009 fiscal year to 298.1 million.
Mhm.
Before he left from the finance ministry in 2011, he approved the budget, he and his team, at 159%, meaning he met the budget at 199.4, and he left from the finance ministry with a budget of 516.4 million. That wasn't a magic, it was the hard work of committed people with a prudent leadership that led to that. Today, it is the same person who is the finance and development minister. When Minister Gafwan took over in 2024, we had a budget of 738.9 million. And that budget has grown by 63.9% if you compared the current draft budget with that of the 2024 budget. So just to tell you that you have people that are committed who know how to do this thing, there we are for now. So there are a lot of processes that go into preparing the national budget. You have to do the macroeconomic analysis, which of course the time here cannot allow us to go into the nitty-gritty of how that happened. And then you have to be able to talk with the revenue forecast people, talk with the LRA, the Bureau institution, in the Bureau corridor where we have some resources coming in, and that will accumulate into the amount you have. For so long in this country, I mean, we don't know the reason for which our budget at any point in time will not grow much, but we think the leadership currently is very much responsible, fighting corruption and ensuring that we filter our resources into the system. So trust me, somebody said it is impossible to do this. We have to bring out things that are impossible. I will carry back to last year when we had an issue of I know I said it last time, the 22 million to be able to make the roads in the easy corridor pliable. It was impossible. But today that is possible. This one is also possible. We'll do this. So we have sat and looked at all of the corridors to which we get resources, our tax revenue, non-tax revenue, bringing in other measures in place, ensuring that people that are even in government appointees pay their taxes. All of these lines will ensure that we are to raise this money. So we can assure our public that we will raise the resources and we will spend it expeditiously to relieve the problem we face in our country.
Okay, before my colleagues come in, how does the ministry describe this budget? This especially this 1.2 billion, the first of its kind. Is it ambitious to the ministry, or is it something that ambitious?
Well, we have different definitions to say it is ambitious, it is this, is that.
Mhm.
But we see it as a prudent budget. We see it as a budget that can lead us to investing more into critical sectors. You know now in this budget, if you check, we are paying more debt than we ever paid before. We are investing into capital projects that we ever did before. In fact, the 200 million that should be coming from ArcelorMittal, you have half of that amount going into both energy and road. And these are critical sectors that will unlock the potential of our economy. So it's not just normal budget we are looking at. We are investing in critical sectors of this. So that when you see, you know that people are actually prepared to invest more because you see those lines that you look at. If we are paying more debt now than we did before, if we are investing more into energy than we did before, if we are investing more into agriculture, we're investing more into our roads than we did before, then you know we have a serious government that is prepared to actually alleviate our people out of poverty. It will happen gradually, but we can get there once we continue to invest this into our country.
Mr. Minister, before Edwin Formula come in, because they are taking notes of, they're still reading the budget and taking notes. With this amount, 1.2 billion, very huge. And again, like we said, this is the first of its kind. Is it really possible to achieve or to fund what you have? Is it really possible, Mr. Minister? Because some critics could think that at the end of the day there could be budget shortfall. Is it really possible?
No, when you do budget, you do risk analysis to your budget. Once you do any national budget all around the world, you have to have risk analysis to your budget to say, okay, for example, we have exogenous and endogenous factors. So the exogenous ones are the ones that happen outside your jurisdiction. You have issues happening in the world that may impact happen in your country. For example, a few years ago we had the Russian-Ukraine crisis that had heavy impact on our economy. We have outbreak like in 2014 we had the Ebola situation. So health crisis could be we don't pray for, could be some risk factor to your budget. Maybe you have a reduction in global commodity prices, and we depend more on the export of raw material like iron ore from the extractive industry, and the way we export them, the way they are being bought, that's how we get resources back to our country. But then on the other side, if those things are not happening, then it means we are positive, we are going to remain on par, we are going to raise our money. So whenever you do budget, do that budget and do the risk analysis that goes along with the budget to say, if this thing happens, this will happen. So that's the reason why we do the budget. We also do what you call the risk analysis. We do the fiscal outcome report that we also publish so that people can see to say, okay, this budget is there, we have done this, we can raise this. Or should we get this happen? And let me just explain this so that our people out there can understand it very simple. So if couples in the home, the husband and the wife, they do that budget. They assume they are working, both of them, and they are earning $500 a month. The whole year they'll be getting $6,000. So out of that money, they are going to put on and say, okay, every month we are going to get the amount of $500. So in the whole year, we are expecting to get $6,000. Now, for that amount, then the plan is we'll get XYZ. We'll be able to pay our house, we'll be able to do this, we'll be able to put the money in our house. But the amount you put in your house is contingent. If no member of your family will get seriously ill, then you'll be able to put. So if you plan to say of the 6,000, I will put 2,000 into my house project, and I will have this for health program. If no major health issue occur, we got to take your relatively out of the country for treatment, then you can do that. But if that do happen, you can't be building a house where relative is dying. So these are all things to do. So even in the home, when you do your own planning, you have to say, okay, I have planned to do this, and I will pray that nothing bad happen to me. But sure, in case this won't happen, I will have to forget about building the house and focus on this that is happening. That's the same way we do national budget. When we do national budget, you also conduct risk analysis to the budget to say if this happens, because we are human beings, we are not God, we know things can happen. And we have experienced that in Nigeria. We had the Ebola situation where we did national budget. Later on, we had an outbreak of Ebola that could not allow us to continue with the budget we prepared. We had coronavirus issue before that also disturbed our budgeting process. We planned before we had issues in other countries that also had impact on our economy that also affected us very well. But excluding those ones and seeing everything going on positively, we can achieve this because we are committed to doing so. And that's the reason why President said, he said in the past, if a dream doesn't scare you, then it's not worth dreaming. So we have to be in a position where we can be firm to say, look, we can do this and we task ourselves. That's the reason why we took on the mantle of authority of this country. And President Boubacar, being President Boubacar, and leading us and pushing us, he wants to do the right thing and fighting corruption, putting resources to where it should be, having the leadership of the Ministry of Finance, having the leadership of our institution, the NRA, the central bank, and the entire government. There's a commitment that we are going to do this.
Okay. Okay, let's go there and go to Edwin Famula first before George Kennedy. Yes, Edwin.
Okay, good evening, Mr. Minister. And let me start by saying a big thank you to you and the Ministry of Finance team for such a marvelous job that you guys are doing. And we hope and pray that we can keep this path. But there are a few things that concern me when I dive through this draft budget since Saturday up to today's date. My first question would be, what drives the allocation of the Ministry of Finance for the increase in some of the institutions' budget that we saw? And also, we still in this whole cycle of spending almost $1 billion of our budget on recurrent expenditure, with just about 23.2% that we're actually putting into physical infrastructure that actually have some level of impact on the population. Don't you think that we need to start looking at trying to put more into the developmental aspect rather than going on with this recurrent expenditure budget year to budget year?
Mr.
Minister?
The first thing I want to say to you is that will not demonize recurrent expenditure. The reason why you find it that way is because recurrent expenditure is what foments capital expenditure. They have positive relationship. You cannot invest in capital expenditure while investing in recurrent expenditure, because you have a situation where if you are, say for example, you want to build a road, you got to hire staff to build that road. You have to do even the planning aspect of that. But this is it, and you can check it up from all the budget that were published. Before this government took over, we haven't spent more than 10% in PSRP, our public sector investment project. So if we are discussing now 22-23% of the budget, we are still low. I agree with you. We hope to be at 30 or 40%, but the commitment to make it better is already there. We are on a path, and that's the reason why when we, for the first time, we did what you call the medium-term fiscal framework. We thought it was to keep it in-house, and next year, April, we'll publish the 2027 medium-term fiscal framework. That was one policy issue we even introduced. That as we go on, we need to invest more into our public sector investment projects. We need to relieve our country of debt by investing more into our public debt service payment. So once we are now discussing this, yes, we are not there where we should be. But where are we as compared to the past? Are we making frantic efforts to ensure we invest more into our public sector investment? Look at the level of investment that is ongoing currently in energy. Look at the level of investment that is currently going on in road. Last time you listened to the former minister, the entire country of the corridors, with the exception of the right wing corridor of the Southeast, which is the coastal road project, which we are still trying to source funding for. All the other major highways, you will find work ongoing there. In Monrovia and other cities, you find road work ongoing. Energy program is expanding. The water sector, we are also investing in that. So, Mr. Formula, we are not at where we're supposed to be, but we are making all of these efforts to ensure we get it. And that's the reason why we have to commit ourselves to raise revenue domestically. One thing we take out of this budget, domestic revenue is 94%. That is an express intention to take ownership of your own economy, to take ownership of your own governance. Because if you are depending heavily on foreign partners to support you, if you have 1.2 billion budget for the first time, 6% come from external resources, and you're having 94% coming from your domestic resources, that means you're committed to ensure you have a reform in your country.
And just
follow up.
Just a follow up. Mr. Minister, there's a reason why I actually asked this question, because I've gone through the budget, like I said, as a student of economics, and I see some of your projection made to some of the institutions, and I can see that if we properly scrutinize those institutions, we need not put those monies there. We could put this money into infrastructure development for our people rather than putting it there. When we start to dive into the budget, I will give you some line items that I've actually properly analyzed from Saturday to now. And you can agree with me or disagree with me, but I can clearly tell you that if we keep defending this path, even if our budget go up to $5 billion, we'll still be having more money into recurrent expenditure than putting money into actual development that impact our people. But we can go ahead when we dive into the budget. I'll be able to show you some of these budget lines.
Okay, thank you, Edwin.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate somebody like you and other people. I mean, we can critique the budget, and we too are listening. We take cue from all of the people that are trying to analyze the budget and all of, and that's the reason why, in fact, the budget is open. That's one major reason for which it's being published, and we all can go through it, scrutinize it, make suggestions. Government will take note, and where we think we have to make improvement, we'll do that. Because we have had listening in the past, that's the reason why today we are in billion. That's the reason why today our public sector investment project is even improving, and we will continue to listen to our public. That is the reason why you see us coming in these environments to provide clarity on the budget, to listen to the call, to listen to somebody like you, and see how best we can improve this country. You are also a very key and strong member of this country. You can also make a suggestion, say, look, I see this, I think we have it this way. We too can say, look, the way you see it, we think it to be this way, or we can move along with you. That's the reason why we have to be open, have these engagements, and to ensure we are having dialogue and conversation on all these matters, and that way we think we can improve the governance of our country.
Okay, George.
Thank you, Mr. Minister. I'm George Kennedy, a student of economics as well. But I'm really interested in knowing certain things, because I was looking at your the tax table. I see a drive in what we call increase in taxation. The GST as an indirect tax on consumers was increased from 12% to 13%. Am I correct on that, sir? Are you getting me, sir?
Mr. Minister, you are muted, it seems. Kindly unmute. You're listening to the night.
Okay. Yeah. Did you get it? Did you get it?
When you get to the outcome, yeah.
Oh, okay. So with GST increase from 12% to 13%, the explanation to the ordinary people could be that it would be eating from their pocket, because whenever they go to buy goods, the goods price may go up. What do you say about that, sir?
So, in the first place, we have to be clear to tell you that we have the situation of where we want to get used to paying taxes in this country. You know, I will come back to the 30% issue. I was in Nairobi, Kenya, when the discussion was ongoing on the issue. The last time I said on the show, the issue of the taxes, and we told the Kenyans we're trying to kill the hens that lay the golden eggs by putting more tax burden on your people. But the next issue is President William Ruto, for me as a professional, meant well, or maybe the technicians didn't manage the process well, and the politicians. Because what he was saying, actually, we need to take ownership of our own economy by raising money on our own to pay our debts. When the how that project was being managed, it slipped out of their hands. Many people believe or the IMF was bringing that. I said no, it wasn't the IMF because we were there at the time. As we have gone for some peer sharing with the Kenyan government that will get from us what our professional position on some economic and financial management issues. We were also getting from them what they were also doing in their own country to do that peer-to-peer analysis and come up with some key other points that we will be able to share note on. You will see that this government has been very committed to ensure that prices are being controlled. Those main products, we have petroleum, transportation, we are working on that, food, rice, and what have you. If you look at our inflationary trend currently, you see that it's even declining as compared to what happened from the beginning of the year when they're around 11-12%. You are now discussing 4 to 5%. That issue came from two major things because we depend more on imported goods, so imported inflation and food inflation. But because we are investing more in energy, investing more in roads, you realize the price of domestic food start to decline, and these things are ongoing. So there's a way we treat these things, and the way we do it, you'll see that there will not be bread on our people. We can show you that additional bread on our people. So how those like we are on the show, so like I said earlier on, because when I was talking on how we do the macro analysis, he said, okay. So if you want to talk regressional issues, so to come in and putting all of the stuff, looking at the smaller critical issues, and in fact now, one thing we are doing to get inform you in the public, we're currently doing some analysis on our inflation, all the various components on there, to come in with some policy measures in where we can invest, where we can take some actions to ensure prices are being controlled in a very empirical way. So just look at the pattern of increase on our market. We think as a government, but we already announced reduction in the price of some commodity. We want to come back again as a government again to just escalate the prices. We are going to make sure they remain stable. They rather come down further, but we're not going to increase more burden on our people. We can show you in that. Yeah.
Okay. Any follow up?
Thank you for that explanation. You there for a question?
My thing is that I think he didn't answer my first questions. I said, what method did they use to derive at the budget line item for some of these institutions? Because, like I said, I look at the legislature budget. It increased from 41 million to $51 million. What yardstick did we use? Do we have new legislators coming in that were not in the previous year? Are there new programs that they're bringing up? Because these are some of the analysis, so we can see where some of the shift should have gone that will actually impact the ordinary people.
Okay,
but he didn't answer that.
No,
so Mr. Minister, just to add out there, you saw the legislature budget increase from 44 million to 51 million. Yes. 51 million.
Yeah.
And most of the expenditure we see over there, they are all recurring. Like the increased public hearing, they increase some other areas that actually they're not really bringing the kind of return.
Committee.
Yes, you know, so that's why we want to do. That's clearly, we're not doing it to bully the legislature. Let's be very clear here to the public. It's just intended to ensure value for money. If there is no need to increase this amount by days, no need, you can maintain it because the number remains static in the legislature.
Yep.
That's from that background we asking these questions. Sir.
Okay, so Mr. Minister, tell us about the justification now for the increase from over 44 million to 51 million. What was the justification there?
You know, for more, when you came first, you said you will come back. You said, I'm coming. You said you got issues with some of the lines, but we will discuss it later. I will come back on the real line.
Go ahead.
The issue here, you know, before you brought me on, you were having a discussion with what happened with the assistant minister and that of the senator. And now you want to start on law because they're you. And quite frankly, You know, I live in District 9 before I come out of this. The district where it happened, and I was home and hearing this. And I attempted going here to see how we could help, but then before I got there, the situation had been quiet down and both of the people left. But sometimes we clash because of the interest of our country, but we have to find a way how we resolve it. We have those issues. You know, whether our misstep or not. I don't want to go too much into that because it's a serious legislative issue. And the other thing about it, I'm not going to dwell on this question. Forgive me on this because tomorrow I have a hearing at the house. And I don't want to.
I knew. The man doesn't want to be hearing contempt. So we see.
I'm going there for a hearing and be public here, and you know, so maybe other lines we can discuss that. It will give us but just maybe we can find a way. And now the other thing I want to say to the public here, the hearing process that go on in the house. You have civil society organizations and other groupings that go around to observe the hearing. And the last time I know we're there, they will even ask you if you have questions. They can write a question and send it in for some clarity. So let me not get too much into the related issues. Since tomorrow I want my hearing program to be the way we're having this discussion here. I'm not saying when we go there they can do anything to us. They are friendly people. They just have interest in this country, and we too have interest too. And sometimes because we all have interest and we all see it differently, sometimes we have misunderstanding, but we can stay as leader of the country, go about to have it resolved and have it, you know, in a way that we can still move on. So just forgive me on our, and you can bring other institutions.
Yes. Okay. Yes, Mr. Minister, let me ask. I don't know, but no, it seems that the National Commission on Disabilities, what I'm seeing there, it's too concerning. And if I don't know what that's the lowest, you know, so far, over 500,000 for National Commission on Disabilities. These are people who, many of them, they don't have the ability anymore to do how work this commission is supposed to be the ones to care for them. What really inform your decision to allot that sort of one who call it your credit who call it nominal to the commission?
So the issue here, what I'm seeing of 576,384. So we have to first try to find out why is that money, what is that money for? Is it there to distribute to members of the commission or to run the affairs of the commission? We have to look at all of the issues. So if in 2024, the actual expenditure for the National Commission on Disability was 299,000, and today you have 576,000. I mean, we are making some progress, which we need to look at. In fact, what you see, we have 500,000+ for them in 2025. Now you have, I mean, you're moving towards 600,000 as we are into 2026. Like I said earlier on with the issue that was raised by Mr. Famule on the issue of investing in capital expenditure or public sector investment projects. Once our budget continues to increase, it will be late by that. You realize that all of these various sectors will continue to have some resources. Now you may mention that what I said we need to demonize new current expenditure. Because now we're saying, the family was saying we should invest more into capital expenditure, and we agree. But then you still have the Commission on Disability. They are not building roads, but they do have their own community road. They have the people that are also members of this country. And we want to see them doing that, working for a particular group of people that will make them to feel like they are also part of this country. So if we have a budget for them, 299, now if you double down, it means we think about them too. They are human beings. So that money is intended to run the commission. they will run their affairs. They'll have the program. They have other engagements. So that's the intent for which they are having a commission to run.
Okay,
their
okay.
program.
Let me hold you there so Moses can come in quickly. Moses is trying to make his input on the line. He doesn't want to come through the video aspect of the program. Yes, Moses, let's hear from you quickly.
Yes, Mr. Minister, let me say hi to you, Mr. Kennedy, and my brother, family. Hi to all of you, George. Thanks for the great job you're doing. I just want to have a reasonable conversation with the minister. As I look at these numbers, I find it difficult to comprehend as to how these allocations were made. Let's do some analysis here. I'm a person who works with people with disabilities, mental health, physical, and other physical disabilities as well. I look at the number the government allocated for a whole year to the Commission on National Disabilities, less than $577 million. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. You're talking about with people with serious challenges in the country. A commission dedicated to caring for these people. The people you refer to as the crippled. Less than 576. I mean, $577 million.
No, thousand.
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about $577,000, Mr. Minister. Look, let's do a little bit of analysis here. Let's look at the recurring expenditure for the commission, including rent, transportation, salaries. How much are these people going to use to cater to the needy, the disabled in our country? People with physical impairment, intellectual impairment. How much are they going to use to cater to these people? Explain that. Nigerians are listening to you tonight. Help us, Mr. Minister.
Okay. Thank you, Moses.
Okay, so
Yes,
Moses,
go ahead, Mr. Minister.
Moses, thank you for phoning in, and we really appreciate your contribution. But there's a thing about it, because, like I said, we need to look in the budget to see what amount is allocated for. And I see here they have 210,000 for public sector investment projects. So the exact detail of how go maybe further down in the budget to see. But they may have some other issues. Maybe you want to build the office or do other stuff and they invested, and the amount be used to invest in that. If you look at previous year, that 210,000 was never there. But that amount is there now for public sector investment plan on the National Commission on Disability. You have amount here that's also allocated for salary. You have money here for goods and services. And this amount is intended not to distribute. We have to send a message out clear. Because if we don't do that, you will even put the commission at risk, because in the morning people will go there and say, look, you have some money here, you need to give mine. That money is intended to run the affairs of the commission that will be able to cater to it people. Now, somebody say the budget is, I was in a meeting yesterday somewhere in one community, you guys, and they are charging people some money. They charge me more. Because they say we have 1.2 billion budget, and we're in the middle of finance, so as we have enough money. You don't do that. I mean, you even go broke. You don't have money in your pocket at time. So that money is not there to put people in queue and share for them, and distribute on them. It is there to run the affairs of the commissions. So let's not out clear. And the next thing I want to say here to my brother Moses, you had in 2024 a budget of 299,000, and today you have a budget of 576. We are not saying 576,000. We're not saying that amount is adequate for the commission, but we are saying this government is committed to serving people. And we have our limited space, limited resources. If you look at all the areas, everything that we they are all critical. And I will come back to the point I made earlier when I was not recognize recurrent expenditure. So there are also critical interventions in the recurrent expenditure area that we now put our eyes on. You don't want to leave out. So okay, we are saying that we hold the budget of the commission at 299. The additional amounts that put it in raw or energy. Their activities here is more or less recurrent activity, except if they want to build maybe office space and what have you. So we also have to invest in the critical sector as we move on. What we can promise you, we'll be committed to improving on our domestic revenue collection. And as we do that, our budget will continue to grow. As we continue to grow, we'll continue to invest in all sectors. We increase our public sector investment spending and also increase recurrent expenditure. And it's so good that Famula and George, they are all economists here. You got positive correlation between capital expenditure and recurrent expenditure. You cannot hold one and then say the other one should increase. They got positive correlation. That means if you increase capital expenditure, you will also increase recurrent expenditure. What we can do as a country, as economists, we about the government on, we have to make sure in nominal terms, that means the dollar value, both capital expenditure and recurrent expenditure increase. In real terms, let capital expenditure increase more than recurrent expenditure. That's what you do. You gotta take that. That means when you look at the budget, you cannot say, okay, this year if we adding 300 million on the budget, if you put all that money to only building road and building school, it's not possible to happen. Because when you are building road and building schools, you have people there that will pay salary to build a road. When you finish building the school, you can hire teachers, you can hire other staff to work there. So they are connected. You have to do them together. Since Nigeria have been behind with development, we are not yet developed. We'll be increasing all two. We'll be increasing what we put in road, what we put in building schools and health facilities. We'll be increasing it faster. So if it was 10% in the past, we got to measure now it is 50%. We got to measure it go to 20%, and we are now around 20%. And with our forecast we did, when we are around 2029, we shouldn't be less than 30% investment into our PSRP, into our investment program. We are around 2029. So that is gradually, you are going there, and you should be investing in it gradually as you move there, because you can't do it at once. If we say today, okay, what we can do, and let me just say this, I know we're doing analysis, we took 3 days, we'll do some, we cancel it. It's difficult to say, just cut down recurrent expenditure. Very difficult to say, so today we get reduced by half. The remaining amount we put it into this. That is a harsh policy decision, and it may even lead to several disobedience. And what you want to invest in with capital expenditure may not even work because you may not have peace. Because it's not on people's salary. It's not, you don't have car to go to work. So the asset and end salary, they can work. They can do anything. Today, if you look on our streets, you see various ministry and agencies having their bosses who are going to work. You have to identify them. These are all recurrent activities. Because when you buy the bus, you need to buy fuel for it. You got to service it, people got to go to work. So you'll find the line also increasing, but you also have to increase your investment program. That's what you do as a
so, yeah, Minister.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you for the explanation. I just wanted you to throw a bit of light on 2 key institutions, allotments here for them, or projection here for them. Taking into LACE, the Liberia Agency for Community Empowerment. I see their fiscal return is around, for 2025, is around 2.2 million or 2.3 million. But I see 1.6 million projected for this year. I wanted you to please.
So it's a cut, right?
Yes, to please comment to that. And then this one is a commendation from the Manuel, from me to the ministry, the government of Liberia, on the allotment for the Monrovia Consolidated School System,
MCSS.
the MCSS.
Yeah, they got it.
This is laudable. This is, I'm seeing around $7 million projection. Am I correct with that figure?
Yeah, you are
Yeah,
correct. Yeah.
around $7 million projection from $4 million fiscal alternate. So this is commendation. But please speak to the list issue. And what are they? Some of their functional have been taken away, or what that led to the reduction?
I'm not having the exact information on why list will decline from 0.3 to 1.7. I must be clear on that. But in
Okay.
budgeting, these are things that can happen. They are possible. Maybe I'm just speaking now of the other process because I'm not having the exact information on that one. But the budget is very big.
Please take note.
Everything.
You can take note and look at it a little. Yeah.
Yes, while we are talking, I'll be looking at it to see what I can find and answer before we leave from here. So we need to
Okay.
find out.
Yeah. Okay.
Mr. Minister,
1 minute. Moses wants to come in. Yeah, Moses, come in quickly.
Yeah, and Mr. Minister, I want to ask you this question, and maybe we may agree on this. Anyone taking a closer look at the draft budget, we come to the conclusion that we applaud the government for trying to hit the budget to $1.2
billion.
billion. However, when you do the critical review of the budget, the numbers you have in there, it seems that all of our money is basically being generated to pay for recurring expenditures. People go to work, basically they do nothing, they produce nothing because we do not have the resources to keep this institutional viable. Take for example, you go to the office of the vice president. The office of the vice president, just the office of the vice president, the budgetary allocation for that office is a little over $2 million. The Ministry of Information, a vital entity of government, the government allocates less than $3.8 million to this ministry. So it's like you just pay people money at the Ministry of Information and just go and sit down and do nothing. How do you run the printing press? How do you run linen? How do you run the papers? The ministry is basically financially strapped. It's the same thing with the Commission on Disabilities. You're talking about an entity that has the responsibility of catering to people across Liberia. We're not talking about Monrovia. People across Liberia with physical and intellectual disabilities. And you allocate less than $600,000. You are only telling us that you pay people a few dollars to just show up to work and do nothing. They cannot get logistics. They cannot have transportation because you just don't have money to provide them. Do we agree on this?
Okay, Moses. Yes, Mr. Minister, you can come in. Kindly unmute.
Okay. I don't think I should go to the issue again with issue on disability. So let me leave Moses with that. Now, the other thing about it is such that I didn't make mention of the issue of the MCSS, so let me just go back there. I think I spoke there of the other issues.
Mhm.
All of these critical issues we're talking about. And the reason why you found MCSS moving from 4 million to 7.2 million, all of the pressure on volunteer teachers from what have you. When we took over at the time, you had like 106 volunteer teachers at MCSS. With the issue, the space, the former lieutenant, Momo, he left from that place when he had between 600 to 700 volunteer teachers. The CSA conducted analysis of the volunteer teachers and it reported that we have 459 volunteer teachers. Those teachers were not on board with the budget of 2025. Now, to bring that on board, that was an easy issue. Some day they came here demonstrating or protesting. Some people said they are volunteer teachers, they had no reason to even protest. While the responsible government, we wouldn't have thrown the voice on them. So I've been in the classroom for 3-4 years and offering services. The minister and his team hit 200,000. They were not in the budget. We have to talk to other institutions, court for other places, make sure fund out here and there. In the midst of having the UC drawdown, we did not recast budget for 2025. We remain committed. We are executing that budget well. Now, the 200,000 you provided to bring teachers on board, you still have to allocate similar amount for 2026 because it's a recurring activity. It will continue on the budget for 2026 year. Now, that amount could not absorb the 409 teachers. I'm not saying this amount is going to absorb every one of them, but there are ETS that will do that analysis to know who to bring on board. The various schools are challenged. You're not having kids in some of the schools. Those buildings have been there for years. No renovation, no maintenance. You need to focus on them. So we can't be right here, imagine in Monrovia, and that is happening all over the country. So that's the reason why we say we are continuing to invest in this critical path to ensure we can provide consistency when it comes to education. Our children can be in school and then rain is falling on them. The building is falling down on them. That's the reason why you found those people improving. So that's how much I can say to that.
Okay, so
Yes, but are you coming on education? Are you about to ask a question concerning education?
yes,
Okay.
I can also do that. Mr. Minister, I saw something again that actually a little bit took me back. Take, for example, local scholarship and foreign scholarship under the Ministry of Education. For the whole fiscal year, we put $500,000, which is $500,000. In the age of technology, where countries are fighting to send people out there, we've been talking about the issue of capacity gap in our country. That's why, in fact, we even trying to say, okay, we want to step up this whole thing about the work permit or so. And we still not looking at putting librarians out there for training in Ivy League institutions. $500,000 in this age and time will not be able to even train up to 10 students in any good university in the West. Is there any reason why we actually paying, low profile to these things and just saying, oh, okay, then let librarian students go out there with these bilateral scholarships that are coming that we just need to put to all kind of schools that they want to go to? Now, also looking at the issue of, the AI war now picking up. Why we looking into it, trying to spot librarian students who are brilliant in this field to be able to go for foreign studies? I feel the figure put on there, $500,000 and honor the office of the minister. For me, I don't know what was the reason for that, but I think it's very, very minimal for a country like Liberia that actually suffering brain drain.
Okay. Mr. Minister, you wish to respond?
Sure. So, Mr. Family, if you look in the budget very carefully, you will see that other institutions, we find foreign training programs as designed by them. Ministry of Internal Affairs, you'll find foreign studies and like that. So these programs are all in the budget, and if you look throughout the budget, you will find these ones in other areas. He has scholarship on the Ministry of Education. We also have scholarship program on other institutions. You can look at to see and you will find them there. So the amount you see on our education is not the only amount available for foreign and local scholarship. And the reason for that is very simple. There are institutional specific capacity development programs, and no institution will have to play a major role in deciding that. So you just made mention of MCSS. If you look on MCSS, you may find local and foreign scholarship there. And so all of these programs are in the budget at various places. You check on other institutions, you'll find them. But let me also bring this one to your attention. We currently have development partners that are supporting programs in the area of education, both foreign, many foreign scholarship. And I will give you one example about myself. I went to school, my 2 master's degree are scholarship. They were all World Bank scholarship. I started in it as a civil servant and applied for the World Bank scholarship, competed and got awarded. And then I informed the ministry that I was applying, and after applying, I informed them. They gave me steady leave. I went to school and came back. We currently have a program we are running with the Korean government, which are supervised, that they will send us scholarship and have various areas, various institutions that think we want to benefit. We write those institutions, we coordinate the process, we send an application. Just before this year ended, we sent 11 students from 6 government institutions, not only the Ministry of Finance, Agriculture, the PPCC, and other institutions, Ministry of Commerce, the LRA, including Ministry of Finance. They are currently in South Korea going to school. So there are various scholarship opportunities. Some government are not even paying for. They are there, and government with where we were partners to ensure. We made that request as the ministry to the Korean government, and they said all their programs, whether scholarship or any other aid, will be channeled to the Ministry of Finance. That is the memorandum understanding we have with them. So if you look in the budget, you find institutions that have smaller scholarship program, be it local or external scholarship, that can come up for that program, for that staff. And those programs are designed giving their capacity issue they have, which they know. So we need to check all of the lines in the budget, all the amounts, so you know exactly who have for scholarship.
Yes, Mr.
Okay, I'm sure by 9:35 we should be through with the budget issue. Yeah.
Okay, we will come back again maybe next time to continue.
No,
but
you can still ask.
But really,
you still got more time.
I'm also impressed. Today I read a press statement from the University of Liberia. Announcing the increment in their budget from around 33 million to 40, up to 40-point-something million dollars. That's good. They've in their own press statement, they've made huge commitment to improve the physical facility, other infrastructure, including internet service, and all. Tell me, do you really believe that this money will solve that problem? That's number one. Number two, I'm not seeing subsidies in this budget for private schools, private institutions, because we observed in the past years there were some allotments for private universities and school systems. Can you please speak to that, sir?
I think he's buffering.
I think, yeah.
What's his rain also?
Mr. Minister, can they unmute?
No, I think he's buffering. Yeah, the internet is.
Yeah. So
Okay, so you're listening to the Nighttime Heat right here on Prime FM 105.5 and other stations across Monrovia. We have, in fact, making us understand some of the figures in the budget and justification. Assistant Finance Minister Henry Yonkwa, he's our friend, our guest here on the program. You can, still, as usual, kindly share the show. Want to share the show, not to only watch the show, but to share. We are streaming live on Prime FM Monrovia 105.5, and also streaming live on our Facebook page. That is the Nighttime Heat Facebook page, and also streaming live on our YouTube channel. That's our Nighttime Heat YouTube channel. Share the show so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones can also follow on what's happening tonight. Is he on now? Okay.
She's still trying to get.
So
Yes.
what I try to get him speaking to. Okay, he's back.
Okay.
Yeah, Minister, did you get my
Question,
sir?
Mr. Minister, can you
Yes,
unmute?
please unmute.
I was off. I had some.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
so
Okay, you restate his question.
I was actually commending the Ministry of Finance and the government of Liberia for the projection made for the University of Liberia. I read their statement. They've made huge commitment to transform the university infrastructure and all. So that's good. But my real question is, I didn't see or have not seen any allotment made for private universities or what we call school systems, as usual, as it used to happen. Is there anything that maybe is not stated clear here, that maybe is somewhere else that you could like to say about it?
I think I'm not sure if that is happening because we always do that. So why are we not going to have that? I mean, we have to support. I see we have Washington is still here. So I don't know why we want to see that. So we have Washington University here and our institutions are around. So the government remain committed to doing these things. You'll find it. And I don't know why we need to continue to do this. But then, and this one is personal for me. I think here and West, we are willing to support these institutions. We have to tie it to output or other issues. Say, for instance, if we are giving certain amount to you, maybe you have to reduce your fees, or maybe we give these things in other direction. We give you staff and pay them from government payroll, and you monitor them. They teach in your schools, and sometimes there have to be some measures, but these are things we can work on. And as I said earlier on, these discussions are very healthy because when we discuss with you, in fact, we were discussing the last time to have a platform where people like you, people anywhere, how do I hear from the person who is doing where someone is measured? People are out there that I can use to better run my office to make it effective. How do I hear from that person? How do I hear from the man who is living on Carey Street? How? So we're thinking, what platform can we have? People out there who have some projection on how we can run the economy. We can hear from them. Because we're not the only clever people in the country. Again, we have the opportunity to serve in these environments. There are people who sit in other jurisdictions who have better ideas. They may not have the best way to coin it, to structure it, but they will tell you, maybe they're not even educated, but they may tell you when you do the one, they won't happy. They are already giving that when politics in there.
Sure.
You put in best perspective, and I can help to run our country. So we are still brainstorming on what can we do to be able to hear from the public. There are people who do not have access to the radio. There are people who feel they are not educated, so they shouldn't talk anywhere. But they may have better ideas. How we are still brainstorming on how do we hear from them to be able to do this. So to get these schools or these institutions, private institutions funding, we support that. but we want to also have some conditions. Even the grant we get from our partner, a couple of conditions. Before we get the grant, we want to see you doing X, Y, Z. We have to have the conditions.
I think, Mr. Minister, during the budget formulation process, how you proceeded with this, you are getting some, because there will be complete fight here. I see Cottington there with some 300 some more thousand. No AMEZU, no AMEU, no UMU. Both of these schools also offer the same master's program.
And they are contributing.
Highly to the manpower development. So, I mean, these are things that probably, it's not late. I think it's not late. The budget stay in draft form. There's a need to look at them, sir.
And similar things before, Mr. Minister, before you go, similar things with the healthcare sector too. I saw the same thing there. Now, you gave $1.4 million to ERWA Hospital, Cali Hospital $22,000. The other hospital, these private hospitals should be subsidized because you have vast majority of your population going for services to these hospitals. Very soon they may not be able to afford because of the charges that will be given to them when they go to this private institution. So if you want to take the pressure off JFK, you try to subsidize these private hospitals, give them some kind of a subsidy to serve as cushion. As we speak now, if you drive to JFK tonight at the emergency ward, there's no bed. There are people sitting in chair, waiting, taking treatment in the chair, because I've experienced that not one time, not two times. So if we start to subsidize these hospitals, giving them some kind of allotment in our budget, now they can be the cushion. So if a Liberian ran to JFK and there's no bed for them, they can go to Cali Hospital. Cali Hospital will be able to receive them at a lower cost. So I think we need to start looking at all of these things rather than just putting money in part of, pool for certain entities. And also, some kind of key area that there is some stuff I've not seen in the budget yet. I think you need to look at it. The president created by an executive order, the president created two institutions, which is the Assets Recovery,
the
Office of the Creation of the War and Economic Crime Code. There is nowhere in the budget that they are mentioned.
I'm not saying about
I think the Minister of Finance addressed that today. When you're speaking, he said asset recovery should be in the budget.
It's not in the budget. I've gone through the budget from
let's hear from
even the Office of the War and Economic Crime Code, and I'm speaking from experience because I have colleagues who work there from the law school. 6 months on, the people are not taking pay.
Okay, so Mr. Minister, just address yourself to those questions quickly. Yeah.
Okay, so from who was speaking, I was smiling because
why are you smiling?
The reason why I did that because I was putting him in a position as a budget minister.
It's difficult.
The reason I'm saying is earlier on, Famosa put more money into investment projects. Now saying, now saying give more money. Now you see that's how critical it is when you are seated in a position we are to allocate resources. I mean, you think it's so easy like that, but all the areas are very critical. So you want to put money into capital projects, and at the same time, you want to subsidize liberal institutions. Now it becomes a problem. Now I said we need to humanize the issue of recurrent expenditure, but are also very critical too. Now, you see here, from who? And to our audience out there. Like I said earlier on, what you want to do when you do the budget as it is growing, that dollar value, we currently say in nominal terms, both capital and real current have to increase. With our situation as a country, we're putting less than 10%. Now we're talking around 17-20% now. You have to increase in real terms that percentage, the size. And gradually, when the economy is growing, the reason why you find other countries like Morocco, Kenya, Tunisia going faster, you have a very huge budget. You're talking billions of dollars. So they are not much worried about recurrent expenditure, because even if you get pulled 4-5 billion into capital expenditure, and you put in 7 billion into recurrent expenditure, you wouldn't feel it because you see things moving. Our own, the price is too small for now. I'm trying to grow it. That's one. The other one, what is the issue you even raised about, okay, the issue of the work camp code. What the work camp code is, it's in the budget. It's in the
Which
budget.
line item? On which institution? Because I've not seen it.
The work camp code is initially we had it on the Ministry of State. Now it is on the Ministry of Justice.
It's not on the Ministry of Justice. There's no budget line item there. Except it's blended into some kind of stuff, but it's not there.
I will show you the very line, and you'll go there.
Okay.
If you just open the budget, the preliminary side, you see CSXV. You find it there. The amount for that is 1.3 million. You find it there. So just go to find it, type war crime, and then you try to search. You find it. The war crime code is there. Initially, it was on Ministry of State, so you find it there. When you go on a Ministry of Justice, you find it on a Ministry of Justice. So if you see on a Ministry of Justice, 2024, 25, no amount there. Unlike on a Ministry of State, you find it that way.
Okay, Mr. Minister.
What about the schools? Those schools that,
Which was so if you look at our checking journal, I think if you check AMEU or MEZ, you want to got some money in there too. Now, so
Yeah.
like I said,
About $22,000.
let me tell you,
Yeah.
as a budget minister, because you find it so to allocate to all of the schools, we are willing to do so. We are willing actually, but we can do the thing gradually. I don't know how it don't keep on going from the beginning because we met that ongoing. We get, these are things we can look at. But to have all the private schools, all the private health facilities on board, I don't think that's something we are capable of doing now. Because if we do that, we take away resources from some of the other issues we're doing. And then
Minister, that was my point. Yeah, that was my point when I started with the legislature, right? You know, and I know you that's an uncharted territory that we don't want, that you don't want to go into. Now there are other institutions as well that we can chip from these institutions, because we want for the people to feel the direct impact of the growth in our budget. Now, take for example, JFK budget went from $7 million to $9 million, but JFK need more than that. I can say that. Whether we agree here or disagree, NSA budget went up to $20 million from $10 million. So we need to start looking around all of these institutions. I'm not trying to cry them down, but I know, look, we all supported this government, and from the initial stage, there was all of this argument about why we giving NSA so much money. In fact, I think the president even wanted to even audit NSA, and the president said, no, you can't audit NSA, blah, blah, blah. But I think if we want for people to have an impact, we need to start looking at drifting some of these resources that we're just putting in part and just setting it down. Because at the end of the day, they will tell you for security operations, what is security operation? Has anything significantly changed within our sub-region for the past 1 year that we need to give them additional $10 million? So once we start doing all of these things, we can now start shifting these resources that will have a direct impact on our people. Because by now, we should even be setting up an investment fund for Liberian businesses that are trying to grow, because our budget is growing. Look, we will not have the foreigner to develop this country. It is Liberian that will develop this country. And the only way we can do it is to empower them through our natural resources, which is our budget. Nobody going to take money from outside of Liberia to bring here to build Liberia. The countries that we go to today, the Ghana, the Egypt or so, it was the indigenous who built this country.
Okay. Mr. Minister, can you address those concerns quickly? Kindly unmute.
But we're still revolving around this, and I know the amount is not enough, but we got something in our budget for I mean, small business support, which we think is a good starting point. 600,000 is a small money. I agree with you on that. But these are funding when we put into the system, we believe gradually we can get somewhere.
Okay, Mr. Minister, from my end. Still speaking. Yes, go ahead.
One thing we want to take from the budget, we have tried to put more money into what we call counterpart funding to try to certify that. Because you see, when you all of these road projects, water loan, grant, government has their own contribution to make. Maybe the resettlement action package, people who build along the road, you want to get them out, you pay them, it's government who do that. So the first thing the minister will ask for is let's get all of these fundings. But when you leave it out, if you don't do your part, the partner will not bring the money. Some of them are even legacy payment, they are delayed payments. The payments have been done 2, 3, 4 years ago. They were not paid, and some of the projects, other partners pay them and we owe them that money, or they got stored somewhere and we try to unlock them. Now, when you do the counterpart funding analysis for a particular project, you have to be very careful about it. Take, for example, if you should build a road from Banga to Maninkoma, it will take you out of 4 or 5 years. And then there are counterpart funding expenditure along the way. So you have to capture the one you can pay in year 1. So you do not have the luxury of resources. Then you build out a plan for the next year when you do the next budget. That's the reason why you see when we do the budget, we do the 2 other years. You say, okay, we spend it now, but we think this is what we'll spend next year. And the following year, you look at that to be able to restructure it and move on. But let me give someone a chance to ask a question.
Yes, Mr. Minister. Oh, I wanted to ask, I'm concerned about our civil servants. I know in the last budget, there were some top-ups. In this 2026, do you have something of that nature?
There will still be top-up in some critical sectors. But because we see this with the legislature, and that is very critical and sensitive, what I can tell you, I can give a general statement that critical sector will still be looked at. But the last time we look at health and education, other places, we will still look at critical sectors within the budget. But I want to keep tightly on that, how we stay discuss the national legislature, so the budget can be passed, and then we can try to run with that information. But we'll hold that for now and just tell you generally some critical sector will be looked at, and then we can be able to move on with that.
Okay, so Mr. Minister, let's try to pause now on the issue of the budget, and let's go to our next talking point, and we'll begin with you on that. Let's see what I can play the video quickly. The video that has to do with the protesters today. I'm sure the minister can address that, and then later on, we can talk about other issues after you've left. Let's play the video.
What we want to do, we're not from here, we'll be here for the rest of the day. We are here. The one you thought we hear it once, you will not go by it. We're here. So you don't see us, so you won't be here.
That's what we give up. Our money. We want our money. We want money. We don't want money. We want money. We want money.
Wow, mother, we don't want story. Okay, Mr. Minister, let's begin with you on that. You saw the video. Just give us an idea as to what was happening.
You know, okay. We had 2 major issues today at the ministry. I'll come to work and almost getting late. We have some the other issues, but then go have meeting every morning by 8:30 on Monday morning. So I was rushing to catch up. And then the time caught me in the car. I have to put, because it is, the meeting is more like virtual at times. Even we are in country, we make it virtual because you'll be in the meeting and still doing some work. Then I heard people at the gate. And I came, the security manager to get me in. That wasn't a former Timber Worker Union. That was civil society groupings that are in support of the War and Economic Crime Code that have come to advocate that we allocate money for the War and Economic Crime Code. The same way that the family will raise issue, they too thought we don't have any money in the budget for the War and Economic Crime Code. But fast forward, we were able to, the minister sent us to talk to them, we brought the leadership upstairs, we discussed with them, and they understood some of the issues. They are not in different quadrants. While we are in different quadrants, we all are in the same place, and we are advocating the same thing, and we have already allocated 1.3 million in the 2026 draft budget to be approved by the National Legislature for execution in 2026. Having said that, while we're in a meeting with the War and Economic Crime Support, and we had a huge noise again, a group coming. And our group happened to be a former Timber Worker. Someone formula Kennedy to our audience out there, it is the right person you are speaking to on the Timber Worker Union issue. Because I headed the Timber Worker Union Committee, and we're able to analyze their issue. In my opening statement, the part of the Timber Worker Union is not with the Ministry of Finance. It is with the Timber Worker Union themselves, not the Ministry of Finance. But the Minister has promised that he will bring all the groups this week to see how the issue. But let me give you some information on the Timber Worker Union stuff. I got fully involved with the Timber Worker Union issue last year, July 25th. And I took key interest in it because I'm a common leader of the MCSS Teacher Association, and I know I need to be in advocacy position. And when I saw them, I saw other people among them. And I, acting at the time as Deputy Minister of Migratory Travel, Minister Anthony Myers, and I at the time engaged them, and we got the GSC. The GSC has advised that, look, the past government wrote up on this issue. We advise that it should be addressed administratively. We can invite other institutions, like the FDA, the RAA, Ministry of Labor, to be able to address this and handle it at the administrative level. So we did that. We established a committee that was headed by me from the Ministry of Finance. You have the RAA represented by Anthony Jeremiah Samuel Dubo the first. Sorry if I'm calling your name on the public media, guys. I didn't consult you. You had the Ministry of Labor represented by Wilfred A. Ward, and he's an administrative assistant. And you had Blamma Allison represented by the Ministry of Labor, and Ikima A. Witherspoon the first from the FDA. We went through that documentation, we had a conversation with them. We did a resolution. Before then, Mr. Gapa was not even the Minister of Finance. When the minister came, we talked with him, they met him, he promised I will ensure that the Debt Management Committee will look into your case. We did a resolution. All the documents they had, we went through it. Our resolution said there were no legitimate documents that the government actually owed them. But previous administration has already committed government to pay them $1.7 million. So government should continue to pay them. But one thing we said in that document, we signed, that government should scrutinize the list of timber workers and pay them, which is included in the debt stock. Mr. Gafwan took over, he promised them, the Development Committee, National Development Committee met and agreed with our resolution. They were included in the debt stock 500,000 was placed in the budget for them. They were requesting for that money. We advised them to bring their payroll. They said they have membership listing. They refused to bring that payroll up to date. Now, if you gave them the cash money, they will go and pay that people themselves. You don't do that in the financial environment. Who are they going to pay? How much are they going to pay them? So we'll give them money to go and pay them for another group that they pay them. To make it even more complex, another group and say they are a legitimate Timor Walker Union group. Who do we then give money to? They always bring people here to demonstrate, to protest. They say those people are their members. Then why you can't get a list? Even if you pay, every we pay. We have to agree on a list. And you're going to pay. You have the allocation, you're going to pay them. How much are you going to pay them? So we have to give you money and carry. Even you who carry the money, you are at risk. Your life is at risk. That chaos, people will fight, people will die. You can't do that. So this week, we'll find a way, the two groupings, we'll call various stakeholders, the FDA, the Ministry of Labor, the Ministry of Promise them on that. We will sit to have the discussion, we'll resolve it, and we're identifying the legitimate Timor Walker Union leadership. They will have to bring their payroll that will be vetted, scrutinized well, and that list people. That's the advice we are giving as technicians. That's our position as technicians. We have to be
okay.
Now we work along with them. And for some of all, they are even blaming us. For we can do what you want to do, but as technician, my position, and as the head of the Timor Walker Union Committee that is currently dissolved, but we did our work. We did a resolution. That was our recommendation, and we stand by that. And that recommendation had already been approved by the Development Committee. We say you should pay them an installment. You put some money in the budget for them, including the debt stock. If you're not in the debt stock, you can't be paid. They were included in the debt stock. Why can't they bring the record? Let us know who we are paying. Tomorrow, somebody will come and say, I was part of this group, and he didn't pay me. We need that record to be here, to show.
Okay. All right. You got a question for the minister?
Yeah. So no, it's just probably it's an oversight, and I think the minister needs to go back on the Ministry of Justice budget and take a keen look at it, because we just looking at the budget line here. There's nothing there for that office that we just mentioned. So please look at it keenly again. Except where you want to tell us that you put it into administration and management, which is maybe a lump sum, but there's nothing there for that office that we talk about. Because yes, except we looking at different document
for
online.
asset recovery as well.
Yes, there's nothing there for that.
Okay.
Under the Ministry of Justice. Just look, no, like I said, I took my own time from Saturday to this morning. I was still looking at this budget. We just look at it again. There's nothing there in that manner. So that's why I say, except you put administration, except you put administration and management, but there's nothing there.
One page 213. You find it.
213.
Yeah.
Okay, but we'll take it. But but anyway, yes. But actually, to the video that we just listened to, I think yes, it is disturbing. But our people themselves, you know, we should not do everything with protest. You know, there are things that we can organize ourselves to go and meet the relevant authority. This whole thing that whenever there are issues, people gather in the street and try to create blockade, and so it's not necessary, because it sent a wrong signal for even the developmental partners that want to come and help, because for them they see the chaos. You know, they don't actually go beyond that to say, okay, maybe these are just people who are just aggrieved, and after a few times they'll go down. So I think we need to find other mechanisms to be able to solve this problem when they, you know, come out as well.
Okay, Mr. Minister, I want to thank you for taking time off a busy schedule to appear on the nighttime heat tonight. We want to thank you for the education, for the information you provided us tonight. We want to thank you for that.
Thank you so much, and we are always available to appear on the show, to provide clarity on issues. I know sometimes it can be a bit tough to get us, but we respect the work you do. I mean, there's a role you are playing, and we think we should always find way. I'm saying always at this time, and usually I'm here at this time. Today that is strange to me. So we think we can always find time with our Keep It Song activities to always appear on the show, provide clarity and information for our people. So we'll always be around. And let me also say thank you to Kennedy.
Thank you.
Is it okay for me?
Yeah, it's okay.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Minister. I just saw it. Yeah, I just saw it. Thank you. It's 1 point, I think 1 point something.
Okay, Mr. Minister, thank you for joining us.
1.3 million. Yeah. You're right. It's 1.3 million.
Okay, so gentlemen, I'm sure we'll be closing anytime, but let's do a brief analysis of what we listened to from the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning concerning the whole budget situation. Let me get your. Let me get your takeaway first, Edwin.
Well, there are a few issues, and first of all, let me say a big thank you to him and the team at the Ministry of Finance, even taking his time to come out, so that we can dive into the budget. I think most of what we say here, he agreed to that. And for us as Liberian, we want to see the impact of the $1.2 billion budget that we have. Having the $1.2 billion budget that doesn't have a positive impact on the local people is just, to me, it's just kind of meaningless to them. Mm-hmm. There are key issues that we strike on the issue of providing subsidies to schools, basically because these private schools are helping to take the burden away from the government institutions. Everybody cannot go to the University of Liberia. There are other Liberians who are in the AMEU, the ABZU, the STAR or so. We need to find a way to give them some kind of cushion so that they would take the burden of the ordinary people. And the only way you do that, you give them subsidies. The issue of the hospitals, like we said, you need to find a way to give them some kind of subsidy. Mm-hmm. We shouldn't wait we shouldn't wait until we reach the stage of ERWA that was threatening to close down, and then we run there, we say, okay, we'll give you $1.4 million so that we'll be able to pay your staff for 1 year. What if Cali Hospital too threatened to close down? Why if the other private hospitals threatened to close down because they don't have money to fund those programs or so? So we should always find way, instead of us putting this part of money into the same thing that we're doing, like we said, the legislature, the NSA got additional almost $12 million. They came from $10 million to $22 million. All right, there are other institutions, So these things have to affect the ordinary life of the people. Look, before I go, I will say this. I was in Accra one time, and just the normal way you get out or so, sitting down in the restaurant eating. I was the only person eating with spoon. So it was lunchtime. All the Ghanaians came from the offices and they were eating with their hands or so. So an older old man saw me. He came to me and said, "Where are you from?" I said, "I'm from Liberia." He said, then he just joked. He said, "Oh, you Liberians and this American star." He said, all the guys are looking at you and the news street that you're foreigners. Mm-hmm. So he and myself started having conversation, and we went, and he said, "I used to be in the country during the 70s and 80s. He said, "I was teaching at the Totman High. I was teaching high school." He said, Ghanaian used to go to your country to buy sardines, salt, toothpaste to come to Ghana. He said, "But let me tell you what changed our country." He said, Jerry Rawlings. He said, one morning, Jerry was on his bicycle riding around normally as he does. He went to the train station, and then he saw these market women there, trying to buy cheap goods coming from Togo. And then he asked, he said, "But why you guys, doing this?" And they said, "Well, because they are cheap. We can buy it from Togo and make extra CDs on them." And when he went back home, he called his ministers, finance, commerce, and said, "How can we transform this situation?" And they put up a whole idea together. They created a pool of fund, and then they built what we call cooperatives. Women that are selling lapis, they put them together and say, "Look, what we do, we give you guys $2 million, but we're not going to give the money to you guys. We will send to China. One or two of you guys will go to China to go and pick the lapis that you want from those factories. The government pay for it, and we bring it in and distributed on you at almost 0% interest. That's how the Mokola market was built. Those women who were selling in those markets, they make so much money until they themselves could send their children to London to go to school. So today you see Ghana has a middle class just from an ordinary man. And we're saying that if our budget is reaching $1 billion, we want for Joseph Boakai to be our father, Jerry Rawlings. Because I don't care, you build all the, but I'm saying build all of the roads here. She built the road to Banga, to how they call the place, Bikiana or so. How many of the local people felt the impact? Yes, Kai can go down and can come back. I mean, the people still they're poor. You see poverty in the faces of the people. But when you start to build a middle class, that's when you start to develop. So our thing is that our budget should be able to reflect the will and aspiration of our people, not just a few big shots.
Okay. Josh?
Thank you. I think the budget in its current state is not that bad. Yes, it's true. We've hit the 1.2 billion mark, and we'll still be going, further to 1.5 or 1.4 in the next year. But as Mr. Famule said, we need to invest in our domestic private sector to create middle class. It also comes with responsibility for the Liberians themselves, to be honest. And, we saw Madam Salif organize the private sector development fund at the Ministry of Finance, where people went there, they took that money. And that's the same program that got the current South African president, Cyril Ramaphosa, a multimillionaire.
Multimillionaire, yes. Yeah.
He goes to the, how to call it, the investment forum, global investment forum, not as South Africa's president. He goes there as an investor. Okay, so when former President Nelson Mandela established that program in South Africa, he took advantage and he became rich.
Of course.
So today, when that program was sitting right at the Ministry of Finance, we took it. Our people mess it up. Some of them, in fact, went to join opposition political parties, start mocking the same system. So it's both sides responsibility from us and responsibility from the government.
Okay, let's hear from Moses' parting comment as well. Your takeaway, Moses. Takeaway from the presentation of the assistant minister.
Well, I came in the middle because I have a real tight schedule. I didn't follow from the onset. I have to listen to the replay of the show. However, the segments that I listened to, and I like what Mr. Famula said, it is very essential that our people begin to experience and feel the increase in our national budget. If people are throwing numbers around and the numbers don't make sense, the people are not feeling it, only the people at the top, it defeats the purpose. Tell me Sobol. Just the office of the vice president is more than $3.2 million. And you have a viable entity of government, the Ministry of Information. You gave them less than $3.8 million to run? You're joking. We all know how communication is very expensive. How do you expect these people to tell the government stories when basically they have nothing to work with? You go to Grand Basel College. You gave the Basel Community College less than it's less than $900,000 for a year. For a year. And just the office of the vice president. You give this man $3.2 million. A whole country cannot even feel what is being generated by the government. We need to do better. So I agree with Mr. Famule. I agree with Mr. Kennedy. Our people, we need to do better. When you're doing this allocation, you need to consider the good of the country. And this is one of our biggest problems. We pay salaries, we pay people salaries, and they don't produce a damn thing because they have nothing to work with. You can't blame the people. You're just recruiting people and paying them, but they have no equipment. I think it was a great show. Let me not be repetitive. I think it was a great show. And you guys did a great work too. Thank you.
Okay. Well, Moses, thank you. From my end, I think let's give the government the government through the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning the kudos, for reaching our budget to that level, 1.2 billion. I think that's the first of its kind. Our own concern and prayer is hoping that the government can be able to raise that budget. They can be able to raise the revenue to actualize that budget, because if it can, then again the issue of budget shortfall again comes into play, and we don't want that to happen. So hoping that all the necessary areas that is supposed to go to gather the resources to actualize our budget. They already were talking about the Liberal Transit management and the Ministry of Transport. That whole Rickman Road is still is still existing, and that's one of the major sources of our revenue. To be able to actualize that budget. So they need to make a decision. The government needs to make a decision on that. Whether the Ministry of Transport takes over its previous responsibility, or whether it's given to the traffic management. I think the government needs to do something about that. So we just hoping and pray that the country will be able to actualize that 1.2 billion. But it's let's give the kudos to the government of Liberia through the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, the LRA. They did extremely well. I think with this, we can call it a quit, and we can come back on Wednesday. We didn't discuss one of our topics. We'll come back on Wednesday to discuss that. But before we go, let me try to recognize some of our viewers quickly. Siliki Trawari, he always watching, but he didn't say from where. Maxwell Kendima from Barknazil Estate, last the bus stop, he said. Gloria Boyu passed away from the USA. She always watching. Ezekiel Dodo, he didn't say from where. Anthony Zel Wayon from Nimba County. Timini Massa, didn't say from where. Ophelia S. George, she said she's been watching from home. DJ Keza LRB from South Africa, Cape Town. Oh, thank you, DJ LRB. J. Edwin M. Saki Jr., didn't say from where. Vinicius Jinaba from New Town. CRC Mario M. Toba Jr. from District 14th. Imarabi Kroman from Iron Factory Community. Pastor Samuel Shan from home, he said he's been watching. Valley Kroman, he said congratulations to the minister in studio. I'm so impressed with the presentation tonight. Kudos, Mr. Minister. And then also Jibak Sando, he said Jibak said which long atom the asset recovery is under. Okay, was asking the question. What and also God's grace, Ambassador Joseph Fire from home. He said he's been watching. Okay, call all the names until Wednesday. We'll be back for another interesting edition of the Nighttime Heat. Have a pleasant weekend.